Ire me kiriato, yori me ane. Ye me le kiria sheriato, yo me le kreneva. Welcome to Everyday Christianity. I'm your host, Greg Malone. I hope that you're having a great day and that you are blessed by God. Today we're going to be in Matthew chapter 9, verses 14 and continuing on. We have been going through the Bible verse by verse. I hope you will come along with us and hear what the Lord has to say with regard to these issues. In John chapter 9, verse 14, it says, Then John's disciples came and asked him, How is it that we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples do not fast? Now notice these are John's disciples. They were with John the Baptist as he was baptizing near the Jordan, or in the Jordan River. These are good people. They love God, obviously. They are zealous for God, and they are coming to John's came to Jesus and said, "How is it that we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples do not fast?" And Jesus gives them a sincere answer. Jesus answered, "How can the guests of the bridegroom mourn while he is with them? The time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them. Then they will fast." So Jesus likens himself as to the bridegroom here. Now we know that his bride is the church, and he gives himself for the church. And so it is for his people that he has come. This is his bride that he is preparing. So he refers to himself here, I believe for the first time, as the bridegroom. And he says that, no one's going to mourn with the bridegroom, while he is still with them. Obviously, if you're partying, if you're having a wedding, and you're having a good time, no one's going to mourn while the bridegroom's still there because there's no reason to. But when the bridegroom is taken away, then that is a time to mourn. And this is true today, to this very day, in weddings, and it will be forever until he comes. And then when we see Jesus Christ take his church, we will have the marriage supper of the Lamb in heaven, and where he celebrates his marriage to his bride. So Jesus says also in verse 15, "The time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them. Then they will fast." So again, Jesus is endorsing fasting here in the Bible. We should be fasting as believers. We should be taking time either to fast food, do a traditional fast, which was food. You can fast TV, you can fast the internet, you can fast just about anything you can think of that would be pleasurable to you, that you would normally do. You can fast, and that is a reminder to seek God, to put him first in your life and not in second place. Verse 16, "No one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch will pull away from the garment, making the tear worse. Neither do people put new wine in old wineskins. If they do, the skins will burst, and the wine will run out, and the wineskins will be ruined. No, they pour new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved." So let's go back to the beginning in verse 16 here. It says, "No one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch will pull away from the garment, making the tear worse." So what is Jesus saying here? He's basically, he's talking about, I believe, the Old and the New Testaments, the New Covenant that he is making that this is a new covenant that he is bringing about. And he's saying here, no one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment. In those days, obviously, if you had a piece of a garment, they were very expensive. It's relative to your annual income. It's not like it is today. We don't have that. Then they didn't have people in Malaysia and Taiwan putting out shirts by the tens of thousands an hour in in that time. Everything was handmade. So it's very, very important that if you had a garment and it got a tear or it had a piece that was bad in it, you would take a new piece of cloth and then shrink it first. You would wash it and let it dry in the sun and shrink it, and that way it would, when you patched your garment, it wouldn't, the next time you went and washed it and then dried it, that part wouldn't pull away and tear the garment. It would make the tear worse, obviously, because it would shrink. So Jesus knew a little bit about laundry. This was just common sense stuff back then. And neither pour new wine into old wineskins. Now here we see in verse 17, we don't pour new wine into old wineskins. If they do, the skins will burst. Well, what causes the skins to burst if you put that new wine into the old wineskin? Well, it's the fermentation process that causes the wine to swell and thereby break the skins and burst them. And this, it says the wine will run out and the wineskins will be ruined. They pour new wine into new wineskins and both are preserved. Now, new wineskins, back then, a lot of times they used the stomach of the animal or a skin that was sewn together. This would cause a fermentation process, especially if they use the stomach, because there was rennet. There's always rennet in every stomach of any animal on the face of the earth. There's rennet. It is a bacteria that causes fermentation, and they use it in cheese making especially. They used to pour milk into skins made of stomachs of animals, and it would cause it to turn to cheese. And that's how they figured what rennet was and how it worked. But we see here they're putting wine in. The wine's expanding due to the fermentation process and breaking it. So, I don't want to, I've heard so many sermons that the alcohol in the Bible wasn't really alcohol. It didn't have alcoholic content in it. Wine in the Bible was just like grape juice and that type of thing. I don't believe it. This verse, I believe, is one of the verses that prove it. If you think I'm wrong, fine. Contact me, www.malonegreg.com. That's www.malonegreg.com. Or you can call me on my phone at 315-744-0007. I'll gladly discuss this with you. There are many verses referring to this. It's talking at the wedding of Cana of Galilee about when men are well drunk or have well drunk. Then you set forth the bad wine, but Jesus put the good wine last at that period of time also. So there's several other verses that bear out what I'm saying here. Obviously, we're not talking about them making Bacardi 151 back then. We're talking about them making wine, which probably had a low alcohol content. However, there was enough to get drunk because men got drunk. Noah, in the Bible, got drunk, really drunk. In fact, he didn't even know what was going on. Lot got drunk. He got so drunk that his daughters had sex with him, and he had no idea that they had even done so. So please do not tell me that there was no alcohol content in the wine in the Bible, because there certainly was, and it was enough to knock you out and make you unconscious. So that's a fact, and I do not doubt it. You might have proof otherwise. If so, please share that with me. I would appreciate it. So that's pretty much all we have time for right now. We've gone through verse 17. We went from verse 14 of John, talking about fasting and talking about a lot of other different things, and making of wine and those types of things. I know I focused on the wine part and the shrunken cloth part, and didn't so much focus on what these verses mean, verses 16 and 17. If you know what exactly Jesus is talking about here, or have a theory, I'd like to hear it. Again, you can contact me at www.malonegreg.com, or you can contact me by my phone number, which I gave earlier. Well, I just hope that you're having a great day in Him, that you're blessed, and that you know Him as your Savior. If you do not know Him as your Savior, please contact me, give me a call, and I will be happy to show you how you can become a Christian and walk in with Jesus from day to day. Remember, the power of life and death is in the tongue. Choose life.